I want you to picture this. To understand why the US and Iran are locked in this bitter, decades-long stare-down, you have to go back to a sweltering summer in Tehran. The year is 1953, and it all starts with a man who loved his country so much, he cried. His name was Mohammad Mossadegh. He wasn't a fiery cleric, he was an old aristocrat, a lawyer who sometimes wore pajamas to meetings because he was often ill. And he would weep, openly, unashamedly, when he spoke about Iran. His passion was so real, it made him a rock star to his people. His dream was simple, for Iran to control its own destiny. And that destiny was a black, viscous liquid. Oil. At the time, Iran's oil wasn't Iran's. It was controlled by the Anglo-Iranian Oil Company, what we now know as BP. The deal was so lopsided, Iran was basically a tenant in its own house, while Britain made fortunes. So Mossadegh, the democratically elected prime minister, did the unthinkable. He nationalized the oil industry. He said, "What is rightfully ours will be ours." In London there was panic. In Washington, a raised eyebrow. But in the streets of Tehran, pure ecstasy. They finally had a leader with a spine. But Britain couldn't let this stand. And America, gripped by the Cold War, saw a nightmare unfolding. A nationalist who wouldn't take orders, who might, they feared, lean toward the Soviets. They saw a domino, and they were determined to stop it from falling. So, a young CIA agent named Kermit Roosevelt, yes, Teddy Roosevelt's grandson, slipped into Tehran. His mission was codenamed Operation Ajax, and his job was to make Mossadegh disappear. What happened next was straight out of a spy thriller. Roosevelt used bags of cash to pay off journalists to print vicious lies. He hired mobs to riot in the streets, creating chaos. He convinced the young, weak Shah to sign a decree firing Mossadegh. When that first attempt failed and the Shah fled the country in terror, Roosevelt didn't give up. He orchestrated a second, violent coup. Tanks rolled into the city. Soldiers loyal to the Shah stormed Mossadegh's home. Hundreds were killed in the streets. The democratic government of Iran was toppled. And the man who cried for his country was arrested, put on a show trial, and spent the rest of his life under house arrest. In Mossadegh's place, the US and UK restored the Shah to his throne, and they gave him absolute power. For the next 26 years, the Shah was our guy, our staunch anti-communist ally. We trained his brutal secret police, the Savak, who tortured and disappeared thousands of Iranians. We sold him billions in weapons. We celebrated him as a modernizer. But for the people of Iran, every new torture chamber, every stolen election, every bit of corruption was stamped with an invisible but unmistakable label: made in the USA. The Shah wasn't their king. He was our puppet. And with every passing year, the rage grew, simmering in mosques and basements, just waiting for a spark. That spark came in 1979, the Iranian Revolution. The Shah was overthrown. And in November of that year, a group of radical Iranian students, terrified that the US would orchestrate another 1953-style coup to steal their revolution, did the unthinkable. They stormed the US embassy. They took 52 Americans hostage for 444 days. Why the embassy? Because to them, it wasn't just a diplomatic building. It was the very same den of spies, where Kermit Roosevelt had masterminded the destruction of their democracy 26 years earlier. They were convinced a coup was happening all over again. And just like that, the cycle was complete. So you see, when you look at Iran and America today, you're not just looking at two countries that don't get along. You're watching a bitter family feud, rooted in a single searing betrayal. America looks at Iran and sees 1979, the hostages, the blindfolds, the hatred. Iran looks at America and sees 1953, the coup, the stolen democracy, the dictator we installed. Every sanction, every threat, every death to America chant, it's all an echo of a midnight knock on a door in 1953, and the sound of a nation's heart breaking. We've been fighting a ghost ever since, a ghost we helped create. If you found this story insightful, Please give this video a like and subscribe for more deep dives into the events that shape our world. Thanks for watching.